Hello guys, welcome to Daddy Share Space. So today I want to talk about drills. Is it possible to have too many of them? Anyways, I'm just going to touch on each one individually, just saying a few lines about each one, about how why I bought it and what I use it for currently. So I think what I will do is I'm going to go ahead and start all the way over at my oldest drills, and that would be the M18 Milwaukee drills that I have here. All right, so basically with these drills, just pull them back around here, out in front. They are very worn. This is not basically going to be a technical shootout about drills or anything like that. It's primarily going to be just me talking about my personal experience and my journey with purchasing these drills. So I bought this as a kit right here. This came with a circular saw and a jigsaw, and it also came with either 2 or 3 batteries. The batteries from the original kit still operate, and I bought this probably now going on 11-12 years ago, and it still works perfectly fine. All right, so the reason why I originally purchased this kit, I've actually spoken about it before in a different video where basically I was talking about how I was familiar with the DeWalt brand back in the day. My stepfather worked in the trades and he used DeWalt, and I was actually in the market for some tools to do some projects around the house, and I went into my local Home Depot. I saw the DeWalt brand, but then I saw this Milwaukee brand. And basically, just keeping it simple, it was totally superficial. At the time, I owned a red 95 Miata with a black top, and this matched the car. Now, I do use my tools sometimes on my car, so I just basically went with the Milwaukee because they were in the same price range. So that was about 11-12 years ago. That's how I got these tools, and I still use them on occasion. Admittedly, I don't use them as much as I use the newer tools, but since they do still operate and do still function, I still will reach for them whenever I need to. Sometimes when I'm doing a job, I may need 2 impacts, so I'll grab this impact and the newer model as well. So that's that's pretty much all I have to say about these. Obviously I don't regret buying them because they're still operating after years of abuse, being dropped, everything, and probably because I was not not using these day in and day out on a construction site. That's probably why they're still functioning and in such good condition, not visually, but as far as functional, they were perfectly fine. So definitely would buy these again. So I'll set these over here. Next, I want to talk about the Ryobi. All right, so this Ryobi drill here, I purchased that. This is going to be, this would be my 3rd drill, I want to say, that I purchased of all of the drills here. And the only reason why I got this drill, it wasn't for this. I actually got this drill with a combo kit. It came with a little 6.5-inch circular saw or 5.5-inch circular saw kit, which I was using on a Kreg jig. So that's the only reason why I got this drill. I pretty much never use this drill. As far as there's definitely a difference as far as in performance and features when you compare this drill even to this drill that is substantially older. I don't criticize this drill though, and from the standpoint of whatever, because I don't think that these drills are necessarily in the same class with one another. They're just different animals or whatever. So I mean, for one, I believe this one's a hammer drill and this one's not. This one's simply just a regular drill. So they're not the same. It's not an apples to apples comparison. If need be, I'll use it if I have to, but I really don't. My wife may use this one on occasion for little projects that she may want to do, simply because she doesn't really like to touch my more, I guess, expensive tools. So that's it on the Ryobi. Now, I believe the next drill that I actually purchased was, I want to say it was this right here. This Milwaukee 5-in-1 driver was the next drill that I bought. And of course, it's a highly functional drill. It does a lot. You've got the right angle attachment, the offset attachment, the Jacobs chuck. Happy with this particular drill for a long period of time. It was like the only drill that I reached for any kind of light duty or medium task. This is what I was going for, hands down. Because of this drill right here, this is what basically got me into the M12 platform as far as drills are concerned. I was already in the M12 platform when it came to like mechanic tools like ratchets and such, but this right here is the tool that actually prompted me to get these other two that I'll speak about in a minute. So this was my next drill. And I bought that one primarily for, for the functionality of the multi-head function, where you have the right angle, the offset, the Jacobs chuck. It was something that I hadn't experienced before on a drill, and I saw the usability. At one point in time, I did some repair on a refrigerator where I had to get into the narrow freezer portion, and it was basically convenient to have that right angle attachment to take components off of each side. So this drill came in very handy for that. It's a good drill. Now, next, when I just basically got into the, you hear about new tools and you kind of get that fever and you're like, oh, I want to try and see what the new tool is going to do. That's when I purchased these puppies here, right? I bought this as a set, and it's a direct replacement for my original set here. And I did notice, obviously, they're lighter, they're more powerful. I want to say Gen 2. I don't 100% know. Could be Gen 3, whatever. It's not really relative to me. But anyways, I did appreciate the smaller form factor on both of these drills. It made it a lot easier to use an M18 tool. And I did also appreciate the improvement in power. So that's why I got these, and it was something for me to compare, because sometimes you have something for a long period of time and then you see that new shiny thing and you want to see what the comparison was. That was what I did when I purchased these. I was comparing it to the older model, the one that I purchased about 11-12 years ago. After that, I actually went out, because, as I said, of this drill, I went out and I purchased this combo set here. And this is the M12 impact and hammer drill. And the reason why I purchased these was because I was, practicing with doing a lot of like, building French cleat accessories, and then also, trying to assemble plywood projects and such. And I just felt like in the shop every day, lifting these heavier tools, it kind of took its toll. Sometimes when you're trying to do something that's a little bit delicate, these could be a bit overpowered, but then also too, when maybe you got a bit and you're trying to line it up with a screw, and if you got fatigue involved, I found that these drills or whatever over time, it could be quite taxing. And with me using the 5-in-1 driver or whatever, it kind of introduced me to having a lighter weight, smaller drill. So I got both of these, and I've been happy with them. I use them. Now, one of the things I will say is when I'm doing a lot of 2x type builds, like when I'm building my wall carts and such, I have come to find that both of these are not quite as powerful as I would like them to be for 2x material. And oftentimes I may start off using these, but then when I get tired of kind of putting my shoulder into it, I'll switch over to these bigger guns to do that. So that's why I got these. Next, I purchased, which one was it? Oh, yes. So then I got into the whole FlexVolt thing, and I bought my FlexVolt table saw. I got the FlexVolt worm drive saw, and I went ahead and picked up this FlexVolt driver along with this as a combo kit. And there's a couple things that I was doing with this. Now, obviously, I could just switch back between my original Milwaukee set and this set, but what I decided to do was I decided to go ahead and get the DeWalt, because one of the things is I started thinking about doing this whole YouTube thing, and you know, comparison and contrast is kind of helpful, kind of is beneficial to have perspective on how one tool works versus another. And then since I was already doing some of the DeWalt FlexVolt tools, and you know, this one just came with this one, it just seemed like a decent fit for me in the shop. Now, in using these tools, comparing, like say this this hammer drill with the Milwaukee. If I want something that's a little bit less wieldy, I'm going with the Milwaukee. If I, you know, want something that's, you know, just bigger, basically, I'll go with the DeWalt. I have not done a direct head-to-head torture test between the two, but I know when I actually was drilling the holes in my MFT, I actually started off with this particular drill here, and then I switched over I switched over to this one to finish that job out, because you know, this is obviously going to have more power than that particular drill. Overall, I'm happy with the drills, and you know, I reach for them often. In projects, you'll notice that I'll be going but back and forth between these two drills as I need, or these impacts as I need them. It's just, you know, it's more convenient, especially, you know, to have a bit in each drill that you need. It's very convenient. It's not necessarily financially responsible, but it's very convenient to be able to pick up a drill and it's got the bit that you need in it, and you're not having to switch bits out and so on and so forth. So that's how I acquired that. And then next, what I purchased was, I want to say when I bought my Makita track saw, this was given as a free gift when I actually purchased it. It was just one of the things that they had. It was a promotional. If you buy the track saw and you buy the actual, you know, track, you got the this Makita impact driver, and so that's how I got that. And I use it very sparingly. It's not bad. It's not bad. It's definitely not as powerful as the DeWalt or the Milwaukee impact. But I think this is more so what they call a subcompact. But then when you look at size, I wouldn't necessarily call it a lot smaller, you know, than these other options here. So I mean, it is what it is. But so those are those. So that's all in regards to the Makita. Now, after that, remember I had this 5-in-1 driver for a long period of time, and I really liked it, and I had in mind that I wanted to do, this right here, this is the DeWalt 12 volt 5-in-1 drill driver. This came out new on the market, caught my eye. I wanted to do a direct comparison between this one and the Milwaukee, and as I was doing my research, that's when I learned about the Bosch. So these drills here, I pretty much bought around the exact same time, because I actually did a YouTube video a while back where I was comparing basically these three drills, which all offer that multi-head functionality, and that's, you know, how I ended up having all these. And I find it very convenient because they all have what I would say they have different strengths, and all of them are quite competent and capable for, like, you know, assembling cabinets and doing those types of things. This one is going to be a lot more delicate, a lot more controlled in my opinion. This one has a great grip, so it's very comfortable to hold. This one was totally fine for me as far as holding until I got this and even used this. This one is comfortable, but it feels weird. It doesn't feel like I have the same control over my bits with this one. This one I feel very comfortable with. This particular drill here has the functionality where you kind of hold it like this, and holding it like this isn't necessarily the most comfortable or ergonomic in my opinion by comparison to this drill here, and even this one is probably a little bit more comfortable. Now when you hold it like this, like an actual installation type of grip, it's totally fine, no issues. Now as I said, I didn't even understand or feel any issue or ergonomic issue with this drill until I use these other two. So that comparison and contrast, it can kind of skew your view of a tool. I think after that I actually purchased, let me back up a little bit. When I purchased these drills here, and I was in that whole 5-in-1 category, I also purchased the Festool CSX. I purchased that at the same time, and I purchased this one because it also has the multi-head capabilities, and I heard a lot of people give this drill a lot of high praise, and I personally have to say I really do like the drill. I do. It's very smooth. It's comfortable to hold, and there's something else I'll say about it later, but in relationship to another drill. But these two right here are the ones that I reach for if I'm doing like plywood assembly and such, because they have such fine control, in my opinion, by comparison to the DeWalt and or also the actual Milwaukee. They're a lot more aggressive. You can feather that trigger as you get more experience, but these right here I think they just give you so much more leeway, especially as a newer woodworker, to be able to like hammer down on something and not destroy your work. The Milwaukee and the DeWalt, they have some nice kick and punch to them, and they can be unforgiving to someone that's a little bit less trained or skilled. I actually, on Craigslist, I came across a person that was selling Festool tools, used ones, and that's when I picked up the C18 drill. I do use it. It is a very unique grip. I have been actually trying to work this into my workflow. What I do like about it is it does have the CentraTech chuck, just like the CSX. As far as the functionality of it, it's a drill. It's not overly powerful like this does. It's just a drill. So this particular device is comparable to this one in regards to the functionality. It's got the drill and the screw function. There's no hammer function in this drill. It is in my opinion, it is a more powerful CSX drill. It's an 18-volt CSX, if you will. It's a lot heavier, obviously, because you can see the battery. It does have the fine controls as far as the dial going up to 25 settings. It's got the onboard tool storage. Overall, I am happy with that purchase, especially since I bought it used. Now, would I purchase this new? I would have definitely. And I basically owning both of these Festool drills here has put me in the mindset to where I definitely in the future would like to get like a TID, and I also, due to this one, would be interested in trying out their what is it called, their drywall gun. All right, and so that leads me over to, I guess, the last drill that I purchased, which is this right here, which is the DeWalt drywall gun. It was a coin toss between this one and the Milwaukee. I think this one was on sale. I think that's the only reason why I picked the DeWalt over the Milwaukee. It wasn't because I found that research showed that one was better than the other. It's just simply a situation of the fact that I learned that this one was on sale, so that's why I got that one. Not super thrilled with this particular drill, simply because when I go to use it to do sheetrock on my drywall carts, oftentimes it's leaving the screw proud, And as a result, you know, if I could, I would take this money back and I would apply it to probably the Festool version of it. And the reason being is because whenever I use this tool, I have this one right there with me, because this particular drill gives me the ability to sink those, to basically countersink those screws that this one leaves proud. And so and it's just that fine control. I actually tried to use one of the DeWalt drills to do the same thing, and it was so torquey that it kept going off of the screw head and punching hole in the sheetrock. With this drill, I was able to just feather up that control and drill those screws deeper, and it had enough power to drill the sheetrock screws into the 2x4s on the other side. So that's why I say, like, this right here, why I would actually consider the DeWalt's drywall gun, because I'm thinking, based upon what I see in both of these drills, they're not overly powerful, but they have nice fine control, so you can actually kind of dial in what you're doing with the drill, which I definitely can appreciate, especially when you have as little experience as I have with using tools like these. Sometimes, you know, it's just like hammer nail type of mindset. You know, if I'm putting two 2x4s together, I'm reaching for this, I'm reaching for this, and my impacts to just get the job done. And then as the job kind of refines more, as I start to move more to plywoods and thinner materials, that's when I start getting into my M12 lines and also into my installation drivers. And so that's how I'm kind of working this whole flow. And ironically, I do end up using almost all my drills, because oftentimes in a project, when I'm putting things together, I'll have one set up with my Torx 25, one set up with a Phillips, another one set up with a Roberts bit, and then a drill bit, and different sizes of drill bits and Craig drills. So that's how I end up using all. When I'm doing a project, I'll have things all set up, so I just switch from drill to drill to drill, as opposed to actually taking things out and putting things in. Now, just to add another tidbit to this video, this right here is a quick release. And it's ironic because I've been going into my local Home Depot and I haven't seen one of these that you can just put into a regular Jacobs chuck and turn it into a quick release, very similar to like the Fast Fix or like you find on a typical Impact, which is weird. I don't know if somewhere down the line they stopped manufacturing them, or I have not looked on Amazon thoroughly. It's just every time I would go in Home Depot, I would be looking for something like this, because what I find is I don't use the Jacobs chuck as often as, you know, maybe I just don't use it that often. I remember this right here, this is a metal chuck. One time I was, you know, fooling around with it, and I actually burned all the way through my nail bed to the, you know, to the flesh underneath, because this is a metal chuck and it just, you know, spanned up and burned it off. But the one thing is, you know, right here you can get a lot of skin burns and such when you're trying to tighten down this chuck, because these are powerful drills and this is a metal chuck. And so it's not necessarily the most pleasant thing all the time when you go to tighten it and if you actually use too powerful of a setting to lock that bit in. I find it so much more easy to use the quick release. And so I was actually, probably if I could, I would switch all of these over to the quick release. I'm not quite sure where I would need the Jacobs chuck in my shop, but I use it because I have to. So, you know, obviously on this particular drill doesn't have that option. Same thing with the M12 over here. So when I have to use the Jacobs, I use it, but I prefer the quick release. That's pretty much all I have to say in this little video. It's just kind of a little overview of the drills. And let's see, how many do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 drills. Is 18 drills too much for any man to have? Don't know, but I'll probably be getting more. Thanks guys for taking the time to watch this video. I appreciate it. 18 drills, that's what I have. All right, take care.